Today we are going to talk about guru and student and guru devotion or guru yoga, all of that a little bit. I think at this stage, when we are talking about guru and student or a guru devotion, all that, for but at this stage, I think what you are referring to, what you are thinking about, what you are assuming is basically a specific practice that is found in the Vajrayana or a Tantrayana. And partly this is big part of this is, if you like, fault of Tibetan lamas. When Buddhism came to Tibet, all the tradition or the methods or the technique got sort of exported or imported there in Tibet. For instance, like if you go to a place like China, almost 99% is where almost 99% the teachings are Mahayana Buddhism. There are, I think, I'm not so sure about this, but there is some tantric, I was told, like the tantric teachings that are later transported to or spread it to Japan. But even in Japan, the tantric lineage or the tantric teaching is very rare. They call it Shingon Buddhism. It's authentic tantric teaching, by the way. And then obviously, in places like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Burma, Laos, Cambodia, there, not even Mahayana Buddhism is that popular. There, what we call Sharvakayana or Theravada. Sharvakayana. Now, in the Sharvakayana tradition, the concept of guru as we speak now by the Tibetans doesn't exist. First of all, the term guru, the Sanskrit term guru, actually refers to teacher. Whoever is teaching you something. And in the Indian custom, anyone who teaches you something, any kind of, like wisdom, any kinds of, is considered very, very precious. Especially if this teacher is giving you spiritual, guidance. Then, Indians generally, even in Hindu tradition, this person is considered really, they think it's like more than a god. Like music, for instance. Like Indian classical music students, they would worship their guru. Or dance, classical dance. The guru and student apprenticeship tradition is very strong in places like India. Of course, it has changed after the, Muslim invasion and then the arrival of the British, and then now there's the whole education system has changed. So the education has somehow become like a factory, basically. You have school, and then there's students, and then teacher gets paid salaries, and not so much conversation about, well, teacher need to love the student, and the student must love the teacher. All that's, teacher's doing his job of teaching. That's his career. That's his bread and butter. Students just go there to whatever. That's the attitude. So that sort of bondage between, there's even a Sanskrit name. It's called Guru Shiksha Parampara. It's really considered very, very holy, actually, very precious. There is some movement nowadays in India. There are people who are actually sort of disgusted and tired, at the least tired with the modern education system. They think this modern education system is not going anywhere. It's just making people more isolated, more alienated, more selfish. There's no love, there's no caring. So there are people who are trying to introduce this, but I don't know how successful it will be, because now things are very business oriented. So I'm just telling you, this guru thing, guru business is very, very Indian thing. So for people coming from, I don't know, like here or Brazil or California, you may find it very strange when a music student go to a music teacher, the music student will touch the teacher's feet and stuff like this. Maybe, like, I don't know, guru worshipping, and I don't know, it's a cultish, right? Cult stuff. So it may not go that well in the habit and the mind of, I don't know, other culture. But, as I said, guru and student relationship is very, very precious. Now, Buddhism, when we talk about Buddhism, Buddha famously said, never rely on the person, but rely on the teaching. Rely on the truth. This is very big. This is almost like a revolution. And later on, we will talk about this, but just to give you an idea, the tantric discipline of Guru Yoga does not contradict this at all. This is where people seem to think, oh, aren't you Buddhist? What's this? Like, do whatever Guru says. Buddha himself said, don't rely on the person, but rely on the teaching. I think, Guru, the whole Guru principle has been misunderstood, and, and I was talking this also in Brazil. Big, part of this misunderstanding is also where Buddhism got introduced to West or South America or wherever. Like when Buddhism went to China or Japan or Korea, I think, definitely China and Japan, the emperor, they were involved very much. They like to know what's happening. And they sponsored, they put money, they sent their kids, they really checked. So it was very well sort of tested, and I don't know, there's a lot of procedure. Same thing in Tibet. And it's always such a heartwarming and so touching for me about the arrival of, the Buddhism and the West. It's to me, it's very touching. The West. I'm sorry, when I say it's including the South America, okay, is that okay? Because otherwise I have to repeat this again and again. So I think the way the West connected to Buddhism is actually, to me, is very touching. It's so just incredibly touching. To me, this alone is a proof that a karma exists. Because why would? The West is doing much better, by the last century or early this century, West is doing very well. The East was declining, and there was the industry, everything, science, technology. We are talking about, and then, West is so far from Bodh Gaya, from Varanasi. But, even in places from Buenos Aires, right in front of me, there's this man sitting here who I know when I was 10, 11, I think. So, when I'm thinking like this, it's very touching. People went to look for something meaningful, I think. Okay, there are people who went because of weeds. And even that's fine. I always tell my Asian friends that, many of the weeds, plants, they may be the Bodhisattva incarnation, manifestation. Because of the weeds, many have become Buddhist. It's very possible. I always say this. It's very possible. Even China, I would say probably a lot of silkworm may have been a Bodhisattva manifestation because of the silk root. And then that's how Buddhism arrived in China, right? So the connection between the West and the Buddhism is very interesting. But the sad thing, there's one sad part of that is because there's no actual sort of system and there's no sponsors, there's no emperor involved. So everything is a bit haphazard. So all these, guru, tantric sex, tantric this, tantric that, guru, all that's get, meditation, yoga, vegetarian food, aromatherapy, massage. You understand? So all that gets mingled. So I think along the line, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about the guru-student relationship also. This happened. But there's many reasons why the guru-student has been, misinformed, misinterpreted, and I have to say, just like in every case, there has been a lot of charlatans, and not only charlatans, worse than charlatans, those people who, really, the Tibetan, even within the Tibetan lamas, they have abused this system for financial reason, for power, I don't know, all kinds of reasons. And that has happened. And it is happening and it will happen. It's not like charlatans, I've written a book about Guru Yoga, and I've dedicated my book to the charlatans because they make our life very interesting. If every guru is perfect, his life will be very boring. then that's it. You just go anywhere and everything will be okay. But because at least 50% of the guru is strange, life becomes so interesting. We don't know what to do. So, yeah, so that has happened. That happened a lot. And it's going to happen. But one thing you need to know is this. As we talked yesterday, for Buddhism, understanding the truth is paramount. This is what you are aiming for. Now, when we talk about the truth, yesterday we talked about, on a more generic term, like how all compounded things are impermanent, etc., etc. But on the most absolute level, when we talk about the truth, we are talking about non-duality. This is the realization of the non-duality is, I will say it's a gift. The concept, the teaching of the non-duality is a gift of the Buddha to the world. And this is the most precious. If you lose non-duality, Buddhism is useless. It's just another probably moralistic, full of technique, exotic stuff. That's it. Nothing else. But non-duality. This is foundation. This is the path. This is also the result. Everything that Buddha taught, one way or another, is aiming to understand the non-duality. Everything. And just briefly, I say this to people. Buddha taught a lot of different things. Buddha taught so many teachings. And you need to know this. Some of the teachings that he taught, he did not really mean it. Do you know that? He did not really mean it. And, bluntly speaking, he was sort of lying. Really. I know the Buddhists would not like to hear this, but that's how it is. Bluntly speaking. But if you want to put it more poetically, Changden, they call it. Changden means what? Expedient teaching, right? Expedient. He did not really mean it. And there are other teachings, he really meant it. Now, if you were to ask me, what is it? What are the teachings that he did not really mean it? Anything that has to do with this is samsara, this is nirvana. It's all, he did not really mean it. It's this radical, really. Where he talks about this is good, this is not good, don't do this, do this. All this expedient teaching. He did not really mean it. The next question is, if he did not really mean it, why he has to go through all that? Out of compassion. This is what the Buddha said. The Buddhists always say, Buddha never taught because he wanted to exhibit what he knew. Never. The first, actually, right after he achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, the first thing he said, I have found, profound, brilliant, peaceful, extremeless, uncompounded truth. But no matter who I tell, nobody is going to hear this. Therefore, I shall remain, silent. That's what he said. And then his, Indras and Brahmas, they came and they offered him, Dharma Chakra, and supposedly they requested, and out of the compassion, then he taught. So all these teachings, expedient teachings, where he talks things like reincarnation, this is something you need to know. Always they say, always, especially Buddhist intellectuals, they don't, especially so-called Buddhist intellectuals in the West, they always know, well, the Buddhist teachings on emptiness, it's kind of good. It's like really logical and it's really nice. But I don't know about Buddhist teachings on reincarnation. They sort of laugh at this. This is where they don't understand the Buddhist teachings. Buddha never said there is a reincarnation ultimately. Never. According to him, there is a reincarnation as much as there is a head on your neck. It's all on the illusory level. But anyway, so Buddha taught so many different things. But the main thing, the aim, is to understand the non-duality. So just for the sake of those who are probably slightly new to the Vajrayana, or actually just Buddhism also, what is non-duality? This is very difficult to explain. If you read teachings such as like a Hat Sutra, Prajnaparamita Sutra. Is it translated in Spanish? Yes. Hat Sutra. If you read like this: form is emptiness. Right? Now, form is emptiness. He did not stop there. Immediately he said emptiness is form. And actually he went further, two more other things. Emptiness is not other than the form, and form is not other than the emptiness. So, always when we talk about non-duality, people end up hearing in a way that Buddhism is negating. Absolutely not. We are not negating anything. How can we? How can, you say no nose, no ear, no, here, this is my nose. This is my mouth. This is my ear. It's blatant. So, the non-duality, of course, this one needs hearing and contemplation and, needs a lot of sort of analysis on this. It's not that easy. But just to give you a brief, before we go, this is important before we talk about the guru devotion or the guru-student relationship. And I've been using this way for now, so I don't know whether this will work. I try to use different ways, and recently I've been using this way, which is basically when we talk about the non-duality, we are talking about something that is there, but it's also simultaneously not there. This is the way to understand, probably. Maybe this will help you. So it's a bit like this. You are looking at the mirror and your face is there, but at the same time it's not there. You are looking at the rainbow. It's beautiful. It's so nice. You can even take a photo and it will come in your picture. It doesn't matter, but even though it's there, but simultaneously it's also not there. So I think the right expression in Tibetan, because we said this. While it's apparent, it is emptiness, and while it is emptiness, it is apparent. This is kind of important. This is like the heart and the spine of Buddhism. And according to the Buddha, everything that what we are experiencing right now, what we are hearing, tasting, whatever we are chewing, whatever you are perceiving, it's all just like the rainbow. It's there, but it's not there. So it's not a negation. Now, intellectually, it may make a sense for you using this kind of example, but habitually, very difficult to accept. Really difficult. If you skip few days, lunch and dinner, hunger will come. And then you can say, oh, it's there, but it's not there. You can't really say this. You understand? So, because of the habit, it's not that easy. So in order to understand this non-duality, so many methods. Schemata, Vipassana, we talked yesterday. Generosity, discipline, this, that. So many. So now we come to Vajrayana. Of course, in the Vajrayana, even more methods. Actually, not just Mahayana, even in the Mahayana. This is, especially if you read a Mahayana Sutra like a Vimalakirti Sutra, very important sutra, this one, where Buddha said, Dung is like a race, like a prince, crown prince. If when the king dies, crown prince, there's no dispute. The crown prince becomes king. Right? Even if the prince is small, infant, can't chew, can't walk properly, infant, baby, still this is going to be the king. This is how Mahayana, forget Vajrayana, this is how even Mahayana look at our emotion. Emotion, they don't really remotely look like a wisdom. Oh, it's anger, like dualistic and clinging and judgmental and, so what do you call it? It's destructive and gluey and sticky and all that. But even in the Mahayana, like the, infant prince, this is going to be the king. Yes, looks powerless. At the moment, is a baby, powerless, needs nanny, can't even chew his own food, can't even wipe his own bottom. Doesn't matter. It's going to be the king. Just like that. The emotions are wisdom. This is found, forget Vajrayana, even in the Mahayana. In the Vimalakirti Sutra, this is taught so beautifully by the Buddha. He said, lotus never grows in the clean water, only grows in the muddy water. Just like that, the Bodhisattva will grow within the emotions, negative emotions, so on and so forth. So, in the Vajrayana, this is like 10 times more appreciated or used or utilized, or I don't know. It's much more, what do you call it? Yeah, appreciated. So, in case you are wondering, in many tantric practice, there are practices such as visualizing oneself as a deity. Their practice of visualizing oneself, okay, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a woman, sometimes with the extra 6 arms, sometimes as blue, sometimes as white, sometimes with different heads. Horse head, pig head, buffalo head, all kinds. And the Vajrayana say, well, we use the word visualization. Actually, it's not a good word. Visualization means you are making it up, isn't it? You are not, but you visualize. But in the Vajrayana, it's not like this. You are actually that deity, whether you see it or not. I gave this example in Brazil. It's like a gold and the ore. If you are somebody who doesn't know anything about the gold, then I can give you a kilo of ore. And you will think, what's this? Some filthy stone. You will throw it. That's your loss. If you are someone who knows what's gold, if I give you a kilo of ore, you will be equally happy as if you have received about a kilo of gold, polished, shiny, refined. And looking at an ore and thinking this is gold is not wrong. So for the Vajrayana, looking at myself and thinking I'm a deity is not wrong. It's actually confidence. Confidence is when confidence is like, I'm quite confident I'm man. Now, if I say I'm very good, now that's pride, that's ego. That I'm making it up. But me, man, yes. This morning I took shower, I just went to the men's toilet. No doubt at all, I'm a man. Like this. Confidence is knowing who you are, basically. According to the Vajrayana, you thinking you are David, you are, I don't know, I can't think of Spanish names. Rojo, right? Rojo. I like the name Rojo. Rojo. What does that mean, Rojo? Red? Red. Right. Juan, Pedro, all these kind of. According to Vajrayana, when you think I'm Juan, I'm this, I'm that, Pedro, I'm this, that you are wrong. Actually, you are not that. This is the tantric approach to the non-duality. You understand? So I'm getting to the guru thing, don't worry. But I need to sort of lay this foundation. See? So, keep this in mind. Guru, what is it that we really, really want to realize? Is the non-duality. I need to explain this one more again, because this is important. You may ask, what's such a big deal about this non-duality? It's very big. This is what happens. Remember I said, it's there, but it's not there. So, you and I, sometimes we walk around, not sometimes, all the time actually, we walk around and we interact with something. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's this, maybe it's the taste of this. It doesn't matter. We are always interacting with something, like a fan. Every time we interact with something, one of the two things is happening. Remember I said it's there, but it's not there. So we interact with something like this, we get um, we get hijacked, or we get grabbed by it's there. So then we forget that it's not there. Oh, it's there. We forget that it's not there. We don't think, oh, it's also not there. We don't think like this. What does it do? It makes you eternalist, pompous, conformist. You understand? Judgmental, moralistic, self-righteous, all kinds of problems. Then other time we walk around and then we stumble into it's not there. At that time we should be thinking, oh, it's not there, but it's also there. We should be thinking like that, but we don't. We get attracted, hijacked, distracted, robbed by it's not there. That is so hopeless. Oh, it's not there. Do I exist? Depression. And I've been telling, this is when you wear beret, and then you beret, and then you smoke cigar and drink strong coffee and read Nietzsche. This is what happens. So we suffer. Remember we talked about suffering yesterday, and the suffering comes from not having the right view. So we are talking on a higher level. Now, because we always get either it's there or not there. So either we get so pompous. Is the pompous the right word? What is pompous? Yeah. Either we end up getting pompous or we get depressed. Now, this happens within every second, by the way. 1 second we are pompous, 1 second we are depressed. This is how life becomes so complicated. Don't know what to do. So, of course, there are things that will number us, because this is so painful to be 1 minute pompous, 1 minute depressed. So painful. So, we can inject ourselves with some numbing devices. This is why non-duality is so important. Okay, now, with all this information in your head, we should talk about guru devotion or the guru student. So important, this one. Remember I said, Shakyamuni Buddha had said, don't rely on person, rely on the teaching, the truth. And the tantric principle of guru does not contradict this. Because in the Vajrayana, guru is not a teacher anymore. Guru devotion is path. It is your path. Lama Lamcher, especially these Kadampas and Kagyupas, they talk about this all the time. Lama Lamcher. All appearance as the Guru's appearance, all sound as the Guru's sound, all my thoughts as the Guru's thoughts. They go on and on talking like this. Guru is the path. And then there's so many elements that you should make note of this. See, but I understand there's a lot of room for misinterpretation. Because in our common language, in our mundane thinking, there's this sort of habit that the object of devotion is higher, right? And then the devotee is this lower. There's a sort of this hierarchy business. And then this is why I think people think, following a guru, a cult leader, etc., etc. Now, if you pay some attention and look at any kinds of guru yoga, but all 4 different schools of Tibetan Buddhism, or actually all the Vajrayana teachings, all the Vajrayana guru yoga, there is guru yoga, and at the end, the most important part of the guru yoga, guru dissolves into you, or you dissolve into guru, and you and guru become inseparable. Guru does not remain as dear leader. You understand? The dictator. The man who you obey. This is so important. There's even a prayer like may I realize the state of the glorious Guru. So, in the Vajrayana, Guru is the realization, Guru is a state, Guru is the teaching, Guru is the method. Yes, also, Guru is master who also teaches you. So, Guru is basically everything. This, I think people need to know this first. Okay? Now, in order to sort of decipher this level of Guru, then according to the, like in the Sakya tradition, there's a very nice way of categorizing the Guru in the Sakya tradition. Well, it's not only Sakya, actually, in every, but there's a teachings in the Sakya which I'm quoting here. There's outer, inner, and a secret Guru. The inner and the secret Guru is none other than your own mind, basically. The non-duality that we have been talking, that is the inner Guru. So what is this outer Guru? Why is this important? So important. Because only through the outer Guru you realize this. So let us discuss a little bit about outer Guru, because this is where the problem exists. The outer Guru. You know why? Because this outer Guru yawns. Outer Guru sometimes gets sleepy. Outer Guru needs to eat, drink. He goes to the toilet. You understand? So that this is sort of like a human being, and then it's, like a. But at the same time, you are supposed to think he is a superior, he or she is a superior, slightly elevated. This is, remember the non-duality? That earlier I was talking about. That habit even comes here. Of course, we are a habitual being. We have, this follows. So this is where things gets tricky, because Guru is also a human being. Guru seems to sometimes don't understand the direction in the street. Guru doesn't seem to understand anything about law and order of the country. Guru doesn't seem to understand what's the minutes of meeting. Like if you are having you should try to have a meeting, sort of a company meeting with some guru from the East. But it doesn't matter. Even if they do understand, it's the same thing. This is the tricky part. If, let's say, your outer Guru actually does have a gold skin, gold skin, there's a problem too. You will not know how to relate because it's too special. And you will always think, I can never become like him because he has a gold skin and I don't. You understand what I mean? So, Guru also have to, if the Guru, if the Guru sort of smokes and drinks and go to tango dance, or Guru, does the things that you do, sometimes it's nice. You can relate. This is the tricky bit, the outer Guru. Very tricky. On top of that, as if this is not enough, your karma plays a very important role. It's like this, okay? This is according to Nyingma tradition. Dzogchenpa people, they say this. Oh, not just Dzogchenpa, actually, to a certain extent, even the Yogacharya people say this. Well, everything is your projection. It's your mind. Everything. So let's say there's a prostitute, there's a thief, there's a politician, there's a gangster, I don't know. And there's your friend, there's your enemy, and there's also Guru. Equally your projection. As far as being a projection, 100% equal. One is not more real than the other. They are all projection. But because of your karmic connection, because of your own ability, karma is another big subject that we may not be able to talk, but it's an ability. It's an ability to, swanam ability. Not all karma are swanam, but part of the karma, swanam, good karma, let's say, have this kind of ability to. So when you have that, but you don't have the best, okay, you only have a certain amount. So politician, thief, prostitute, gangster, friend, family, Guru, among them, because of your karma, you relate to this particular being as someone who you get the spiritual, benefit. You receive advice, maybe on the most gross level, advice, direction, corrections, so on and so forth. You will not go to a thief and try to get advice. You understand? Because this is your projection. Yeah? Now, when your projection gets more and more sophisticated, and when your karma is becoming better, when you have more and more and more merit, meaning your ability to interpret is becoming really, really, really advanced. You can even extract a blessing from a prostitute, from a robber, from a politician, from friend, from family. Doesn't matter. At that level, all are Guru. So this is why, how should I put it? This Guru-student thing is quite advanced. It's really complex. It's really big. Let me see whether we are communicating. So maybe some questions. Anybody?
Buenas tardes. Es sobre lo que hablamos ayer. Quisiera saber si el control de la mente y el control de las emociones es lo mismo.
Yeah, I think here we will have to, what do you call it, term, philology, right, philology, the term, especially the term mind. It's very good that you asked this question, and I have to confess that we should have been talking about, I should have talked about the definition of mind, because I think at the moment, we, many times we don't seem to be talking about the same thing. We're sort of similar thing, but not really exactly the same thing. But just for now, the mind is like, if the mind is like sky, emotions are like a clouds. Actually, even this is not, okay, wait. Yeah. Mind and the emotion, strictly speaking, the Buddhists would say they're just, one is more, what do you call it, they're just different factors, sort of mental factors. Other than that, they are like, I don't know, same race, so to speak, same race. Emotions have to have cognizance, otherwise, emotions will not have the impact of the impact. You want to ask question more? No? Okay.
Hello, Rinpoche. It's about the relationship between the teachers and the students. And if I consider you my teacher, which I do, I would like to know if I do receive probably still the blessings from you if we don't really have a proper maybe connection, or not connection, but relationship, a direct relationship, which I would like that could be maybe better also, but if still I can receive the blessings when I think when I do my practice or my prayers and being far away also.
Oh, sounds like we already have relationship. But yes, basically, yes, you can. And there's so many relationship like this. And many times is better, many times. But of course, I think proper, what do you call it, interaction and communication might also help. Okay. Any more?
tardes. Quería preguntar cómo uno hace para ver, según lo que hablamos ayer, la corbata como una corbata y no como una serpiente. Las cosas como son y no como uno las proyecta o, no sé, las imagina.
Well, briefly, we talked about Schemata and Vipassana. Those are supposedly really good technique because one is Shamatha, what it does is it makes you, it saves you from getting distracted. It saves you from becoming, it's even called shine, which means sort of abiding, peacefully abiding, meaning, it basically, what Shamatha does is it saves you from getting paranoid or getting panicked by snake or no snake or darkness and so on and so forth. But that alone is not enough. Vipassana is important, but what Vipassana does is, as we did yesterday a little bit, especially in the beginning, by learning not to contrive, by learning not to fabricate, what it does is then it gives chance the truth to reveal, so to speak. So this Shamatha Vipassana, and by the way, the Shamatha Vipassana, as you practice, ideally you have to practice it together. So this is where, again, this is where you need to learn Shila Sungjuk, we say, Shamatha, the union of Shamatha and Vipassana. Again, talking about the Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga, the practice of the Guru is supposedly one of the most effective way to unite the Shamatha and the Vipassana. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Okay, so we are going to, after the break, we are going to, as requested, we are going to actually do the transmission and blessing of Guru Rinpoche Pema Sambhava, and I've decided to do it based on the treasure of Choju Lingpa, where it's sort of it's a treasure teaching, part of Tugduk Parche Kunsel. It's a treasure teaching. But this particular Guru Yoga, very, very short, was requested by Jamyang Chense Wangpo to Choju Lingpa. So I'm going to do the transmission, and also, as requested, we will do, I will guide through receiving the 4 abhishekas or the 4, at least some blessing. So this is what we are going to do. So as a preparation for this, before the break, I want to tell you this. I need to talk to you about something to do with the blessing. What is blessing in Spanish? Benediction. Benediction. What does this mean? What does it mean?
The gift of the God is the
Good and give. Okay. The reason why I'm asking this is kind of important because there's so many terms like this. Is there a term that is equal to darshan in Spanish? Darshan? Yeah. It's a very important word, darshan. Darshan can be very simple, meaning like meeting, like face-to-face meeting. People even say this. The Indians, Guruji, can I have you a darshan? They say this, meaning they want to meet. But darshan is
in this case in darshan with two points: the merit of the individual and the blessings of the group.
Well, darshan is quite a lot because darshan is also something to do with, like, for instance, if you are a Mahamudra practitioner, experiencing what they call the ordinary mind, uncontaminated, uncontrived, unfabricated, this moment naked, totally, raw, this moment face to face with this. That is the best meeting. That's the best meeting. And if you are a Nyingmapa, then I guess the darshan of Rigpa, the awareness, and so on and so forth. Like if you're following a Sakya tradition, then darshan of the same taste or the union of samsara and the nirvana, basically. But blessing, benediction, yeah. That's important to know, I think. Among many other connotations, lap, the Tibetan word lap, how do you translate that? Lap. Chin lap. Wave? Yeah. That's a really important sort of term. Lap. This. Chinji lap. It has also do you guys make wine or alcohol at home? Do you make beer? Those who make homemade beer, you will know this. Lap. If you put ferment, then it, what do you call it? Yeast, ferment. Yeah. But ferment is not wine. The ferment is some ridiculous substance. It doesn't matter. But when you have that, and voila, this just it becomes wine, beer. You understand? So this, this is something you need to know. This one. In Tibetan, we call it menga also. Menga. Upaya. Sort of a technique. Sometimes it's even translated as pith instructions, right? Pith instructions. Pith instructions or a technique are most of the time very arbitrary, and it doesn't remotely look like what you are trying to get. For instance, okay, I don't know whether this example works, but this is a classic example. If you want butter, what do? You are supposed, I don't know how to make butter, but this is in the text. You need to have a scoop, and then you stir. Now, the scoop doesn't remotely look like a milk or a butter. It's a scoop. It's just wood or something. But for some reason, this wooden thing and this somehow creates a butter. Pith instructions. So many times, so-called Guru Yoga is this kind of, it's a technique. And Vajrayana has many of these techniques. And especially the Vajrayana proudly declares this. Naropa said this many times. The thing that binds idiots liberates wise. This is what Naropa said this. If you know how to handle it, the tantric, they give many examples, like if you have a water inside your ear, then you put a little bit more water and then comes out, yeah? It's really surprising. The problem is there is a water inside you. Why put more water? But actually it does work. What is our problem? Problem is to get rid of this dualistic mind. But then we put more of this guru, yoga, devotion, you understand? Sort of a seemingly very dualistic. And also, the whole guru yoga business is a bit like the scoop and the stirring. And somehow, and the ferment. What do you call this in Spanish? Fermento. Fermento. If you put that, then corn, barley, whatever, rice, it produces wine, alcohol. You need to understand that thing. And don't worry, ferment, you have a lot. So much. You can basically grab, blindfold, and you will get few. And you have the base. Remember I was talking about the ore and the gold? You are already the ore. Actually, 99.99 job, you have done it. There's only, just a shift that you can say is done through the Guru Yoga. You can say, but the big part of the job is already done. This one. The blessing. But the blessing has an enemy. actually several enemies, but two really, really vicious enemies. The most vicious is doubt. But this is really difficult because in a way, doubt is ingredient of path. It's also necessary. It's really strange. Doubt is what makes you clever, intellectual, hearing, contemplation. Wow. Doubt also enhances this ferment that I was talking about. Doubt is also very precious in one way, but it's an obstacle also. The second obstacle for the blessing is inhibition. Not being able to, do, inhibition due to culture, due to whatever, all kinds of things. Then there's other few, but these two, and especially the doubt, maybe. And then why do we have the doubt? It's really strange. It's so strange why we have a doubt. The real reason why we have a doubt is because we are so devoted to yesterday's box. Box. To get out of the box is our aim, remember? Why we have a doubt is because we are so comfortable with this box. Yesterday's box, this morning's box, the box that I'm sitting. We don't know what is outside there. So it's really strange. This doubt is so strange. Actually, the doubt you have is the most blind devotion. Can you see? Because you have an absolute devotion towards your critical mind. You have your logic that which you believe. You are blindly believing into the reason why you are not believing to this one, isn't it? It's difficult. So these are the few of the things that I want to just tell you this. And then we will now have a break, and those who are new to Buddhism or not necessarily wanting to practice the Vajrayana, they don't have to attend, but I'm not kicking you out. If you want to be just observing, you are welcome to sit here and observe. There's nothing much to observe, but we will have maybe a few minutes break, maybe about 20 minutes break, yeah, and then we come back and then we do the Guru Yoga. Okay.